Good morning, everyone. It's approximately 10:01, November 8th. I have just finished voting this morning. I'm a Democrat who voted Republican. Why, you might say? Well, I'm a country boy from Mississippi. So, as the old folks used to say, boy, it's not about what they say. It's all about what they do and what happens after what they do. And basically, all the choices the Democrat Party have been making have been totally stupid and idiotic, basically. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I think both the Republican and Democratic Party only value you for two things: your vote and your financial support. As long as they get that, it doesn't matter what happens to you as an individual or how their policies affect you as an individual. So let's face it, if you're a long-term politician, your career is pretty much secure. Think about it. Say you've been in the game, say you've been around at least 5 elections. You're incumbent. You've got kickbacks, you've got a steady salary, you've got some under the table money, quote unquote. Let's say you got a little 411 on some investments you could take advantage of from different corporates and corporations, stuff like that. So, hey, guess what? You get steak and shrimp on your table every damn night. All your bills will get paid. You're probably living in a damn near a small mansion. Once you finally retire, you probably got other jobs and opportunities lined up. So you're good. So the day-to-day problem of food, water, and shelter, and transportation, and medical expenses are non-starter, totally irrelevant on the outcome of your freaking life. Average Joes like me and you, we got to scrape by. Hey, that's the way it is. I really don't blame the system, simply because as an older man, through self-reflection and examination of my choices and actions, I realized the only reason my life isn't fantastic is because I didn't have the right information and I made the wrong choices. So right now at 51, I'm trying to make slow, careful decisions based on actual evaluation of my finances and what I can and can't do at the moment, and what responsibilities, both personal and family responsibilities, that I have to try and maintain and do. That's just the way it is. I've had to learn that feeling sorry for yourself for not having the right information or making the wrong choices, that's not going to do any good. And being angry because the people who could have given you the right information and give you the right advice didn't. Not necessarily because they did it deliberately and maliciously to try to make your life difficult or ruin it, simply because it never occurred to them. You realize how important that is? That a lot of your problems in your life and the advice you needed and the help you didn't get was because the people that you associated with, whether it be family or friends, had any negative malicious intent towards you. It was simply the simple fact that it never occurred to them to offer you that advice or to give you that help. Not to be cruel or vicious. Just that simple. For instance, the friend I have now told me a simple thing that took me damn near 40 fucking years to understand. He simply said, Michael, if you want to save money, simply open up your separate bank account. I don't care if you just put $1 in it a week. Whatever you put in it, let it sit and don't touch it. and it'll grow. And guess what? He was fucking right. And that was like, I never occurred to think about it. I'm in my late 40s when he told me that. And shit like that never fucking occurred to me. My mama didn't say anything about that. My daddy never said anything about that. It's those simple little suggestions that make your life different. It's not that my parents didn't love me, like my friends were trying to undermine me. It's that if it never occurred to them, how can they offer that information to you? Prime example. I'm a bastard. The man I call my father is a man who did the work. That means he raised me and put food on my table. Now, here's a little background of his story. He did, growing up, there are a lot of things as a father he should have done for me and told me, or at least explained why I should or shouldn't do certain things. I think we got into a small little verbal, I can't say the argument, more like a why you didn't do this for me type of conversation. And you know what he told me? Shocked the shit out of me and helped me understand his mentality. He said, I had to learn on my own. I said, you had to learn on your own. I was angry about that. Then you got to understand my dad's background. My dad was the youngest of four siblings. He had 3 sisters, and he was the baby. And for a while, I didn't have a father in the house. I don't know the exact details. I haven't really asked him. But the best way I can figure is his mother left the kids with their grandmother and went off with another guy to New York. So he got abandonment issues from that. Didn't work out. His mother, the relationship his mother had with that guy from New York, didn't work out. She had to come back down there to them. And she was gone for a few years, so they had a kind of, iffy, strange relationship. It was very unusual. As a matter of fact, on her deathbed, she refused to see him. And he was crying. My mom told me that told me this, and he was crying at her funeral. I said, God damn, what kind of fucked up shit is that? Because, I always thought his mother, my grandmother, was like, the sweetest woman in the world. And I come to find out she did some very treacherous, unsavory, unmotherly like shit to her children. That fucked me up. So I'm evaluating my dad like I'm looking like, it may not have been viciousness. It may have been to the fact, like, to make it an issue, to make the situation worse, is that his relationship with my mother was fucked up too. Classic black woman shit. I'm always right, you always wrong. I can do whatever I want, regardless of how it affects you or whatever plans you have for me and the family. Basically, fuck you. So naturally, they're finally divorced. They've been divorced for about 10 years or so. I'm happy about that. Very happy. If they had stayed together, one of them would have ended up dead. But I'm going back and reviewing everything with my father and the things he's been through. And I come to the realization that one of the reasons that he didn't explain everything he needed to be explained in life to me was that, first of all, when he and my mother got into a verbal argument, most women, their mouth is their most deadly weapon. Really? And most men know if you hit one, your ass going to jail, especially if you're a black man in Mississippi hitting on a woman, you can hang that one up. It's some jail time for your ass. But once they got into a fight, he'll lose a verbal argument. He'll take it out verbally on me. The classic shit. You're a bastard, stuff like that. And make it worse, I wasn't an athletic kid. Didn't like football, basketball. Didn't like grease and grind. So ain't like we could bond over cars because he would do most of his own mechanic work. I still remember as a kid, the first time I saw my dad take a tire off and work on replacing the brakes. He had some like axle grease on there, man. I took that stuff looked like nasty black snot, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to touch it. I was like, ooh. Right, he looked at me, he gave me a funny look. Because I guess he knew I looked disgusted in the face, but like I said, I did not understand that having basic automotive skills like, changing the spark plugs, changing the belts, changing the hoses, and changes, basic brakes with stuff that every man should be able to do with his vehicle because financially it'll save you a lot of money. He didn't explain that to me, right? And as I'm looking back, he really didn't have a male role model to explain shit to him. In other words, he may have had, even when he was being verbally cruel to me, it wasn't because of me. It was because he was losing the argument with my mom, and I was a soft target. That I can understand, because I ain't perfect either, because I've done dumb shit like that myself in a similar situation, not to a kid, but to other people. So I kind of understand where he's coming from. When he did that, and then once I understood that he didn't have the role model, it occurred to me, I said, shit. That's when I realized how important it is to not just tell a kid to do something, but to explain to a kid why it was important. That was the key. He did not explain why it was important to learn these things and have these certain basic skills as a man. And why he didn't know it was important, like I said, he said he had to learn on his own, which means nobody instructed him. He had to take the initiative to go out there and learn, because my dad was he could weld, he had basic automotive skills, a little bit of carpentry. But these were the things that no man instructed him to do. These are the things he observed and picked up because he had a natural aptitude or curiosity towards it. So what if you don't have a natural aptitude or curiosity towards learning something? Then that shit ain't important to you. You're a kid. You ain't got no basic understanding of how the world works and what you need to survive and be prosperous in this motherfucker. That's usually up to your parents to provide you not with the skills, but the why. And then say, hey, this is what you need to know. Now, I don't know how to do it, but I can recommend you go so-and-so and talk to such and such and do such and such to learn this, what you needed. That's what not having a father figure in his life fucked him up with. It didn't explain to him the why. And the why is the most important thing you can give to any child, whether it be male or female. You need to do something, tell them why, and show them why. Let me get back on to the subject. As a Democrat who voted Republicans. The reason I voted Republican as a Democrat is simply because I watched the results of their policies and decision making. And pretty much the Democrats have proven they do not give a flying fuck about the results of their policies and decisions. As long as they get what they want and support their ideology and it doesn't affect their ability to make money, they really don't give a flying fuck about the individual. Bullshit like defund the police. Niggas, you crazy? Defund the fucking police? Look, don't defund the police. What happened? Crime shoot through the fucking roof. Motherfuckers getting carjacked left and right. They're getting their ass whooped left and right. Right? Because of quote-unquote prejudiced bad police officers who's taking advantage of the minorities and shit. Let me take you some advice on that. I'm a black man in America. So I already know my shit gotta be right at all times. That's just the way the fuck it is. Now, have I been to me a prime example? When I was in college, I had a white girl I was taking out on a date. So I was on the highway. The cop pulled up behind me and rolled to me. I looked up in the rearview mirror, and I'm thinking, okay, then, I'm good. License, registration, okay. My tag up to date. I got my insurance. I'm good. No warrants on my shit. Okay, I'm good. So he followed me for like 5 minutes. So I knew he was running my fucking tag, right? Clean as a whistle. That motherfucker gonna pull up from behind me onto my side, get up to about right here where I have my safety inspection and sticker. Now that motherfucker was expired. Guess what? He pulled my ass over. Right? Maybe I got him on. Now, when he pulled me over, Now, I'm ex-military police, so for the Army. So I basically know how you're supposed to pull a car over when you're about to give a ticket or a citation, right? He pushed you over off to the side of the road, far enough over to where half of his car, you get all the way over to about half of his front of his car, half of it is sticking out to the side on your driver's side. That way, when he gets out, his car can act like a block to keep other cars from knocking the fuck out of him. You know, it's a shield for him. So he called up to my car. I'm confident. I told the girl, hey, relax, I got it. I'm good. All my stuff's up to date. Got my driver's license, registration, gave my insurance, went back in my car, ran that shit. Right? Came back 5 minutes later. Didn't say nothing. Didn't say thank you, have a nice day. He just gave me my shit, went back to his car, and damn near fucking kicked up rock getting out from under there. He's supposed to wait till I get back into the floor in traffic. Didn't leave all allowed though. That motherfucker was upset that my shit was G to G. And guess what? Hey, he was white. Okay? So I understand prejudice don't go away. It's built into the system. But that's not the problem. The problem with police officers is they don't have mob rules. If mobs, people have a loose cannon on their fucking payroll, or somebody in the organization that don't know how to fucking shut the fuck up, do what they're told and maintain a low profile, that son of a bitch is gonna come up missing. Remember the Sopranos? Tony Soprano and other guys in his organization took Big Pussy out there to that fucker. Let's go on a little fishing trip. Oh yeah, fucking Big Pussy ended up as the goddamn bait, and everybody else came back. Oh, we don't know what happened to that motherfucker. I think he skipped town and shit. Yeah, you know, fuck that. Now, you know, that's how they do business. They police their own. That's the one thing cops aren't doing. So cops, if you see this video, hey, I love you. I'm ex-military police. You do a hard fucking job. Fan fucking taxes. Police your own. If a motherfucker proves to you that he's a prejudiced, Nazi-ass son of a bitch, you ain't got to fire the motherfucker. You ain't got to let him go. You don't want to have that motherfucker go to another fucking precinct or the police department with the same fucking attitude and causing the same goddamn bullshit problems. Put that son of a bitch in timeout. And where's timeout for a cop? Where he can still make his money, get all his benefits, feed his family. The fucking evidence room, bitch. Put that motherfucker in the evidence room. You got 50 fucking loose cannons in that goddamn evidence room, and it can only hold 2 fucking people. Oh, fucking well. Problem fucking solved. All right, then, I rambled on enough. Y'all have a nice day. A nice day. It's going to be Thanksgiving soon. I got to get my car cleaned up so I can ride in the car with my divorced mom and dad, who pretty much hate each other's guts for about 8 or 9 hours. So I'm not looking forward to that. As always, happy Thanksgiving. And if you see the truth and you're a Democrat, fuck them all and just vote Republican until the Democrats prove to you they're not fucking morons.